Dear friends, today I want to talk about one of the most talked about and also most controversial actors, Can Yaman. His life and career always move between two extremes, absolute success and the risk of collapse. His talent, intelligence, and physical charisma quickly took him to the top with series such as Full Moon and Daydreamer. Then he conquered Italy, got involved in major projects like Sandokan, and became an international figure. But fame does not rest on hard work alone. One mistake, a wrong relationship, or a circle of toxic friendships can destroy everything in an instant. And that is precisely the greatest danger surrounding him today: loneliness. Because the strongest enemy of a star is not external criticism, but the inner void. Ken seems to live in that emptiness. What is missing is the sincere voice of a childhood friend, a father, a mother, someone to warn him when he's about to make a mistake. If those voices disappear, only manipulators remain. Managers, partners, false friends who try to exploit his name and emotions. We have seen it in recent years. People in his circle who, instead of strengthening him, have weakened him. Some seek visibility at his expense, others use his private life as currency. It is the classic tragedy of celebrity. And history shows us that if this chain of manipulation is not broken, the ending is often dark. Time passes, and in film and television, today's peak can easily become tomorrow's oblivion. A failed romance, a wrong image, or unsuccessful projects may set him on a path of no return. What hurts his fans most is watching him get lost, because they have supported him not only as an actor, but as an idol, an inspiration. But there is still a way out. Ken must stop, reflect, and make wiser choices both personally and professionally. Every role, every project defines the value of his name. And in his private life, he must distance himself from those who manipulate him and surround himself with true, selfless friends, even if they are hard to find under the bright lights of fame. The greatest wish of his fans is to see again the strong, authentic, and radiant Can, the one who once filled our screens with energy and dreams. Because his light has not gone out, it is only hidden in the shadows. And if he does not wake up in time, he risks losing everything: his career, his image, and above all, the affection of millions who have admired him. Speaking of Demet Özdemir is not easy, because behind that smile that so often won over audiences, today there seems to be a woman divided between fame and controversy. And I say this frankly, unlike others, she has, on several occasions, tried to stand firm in the storm. However, it is impossible to deny that her name has been tied to episodes that caused division, mistrust, and even disappointment among some of her followers. Many express it bluntly. They expected more from her, more discretion, more sense, more of that inner strength she showed at the start of her career. The comments reflect a mixture of indignation and sadness. Some speak of a loss of principles, of the feeling that everything she once stood for has slowly crumbled. And although not everything said is fair, because social media can be cruel and excessive, there is still a perceived gap between Demet's public image and what she truly conveys today. Some think she has been carried away by bad influences. Others argue that she behaves like a rebellious young woman who does the opposite of what she is advised, as if constantly trying to prove that no one can control her life. What is worrying is that, just like Can, Demet seems to have forgotten the weight of popular admiration. For years, she was seen as an example, a talented, free, strong actress able to make her way in a hostile environment. Now, however, headlines focus more on her relationships and private choices than on her acting work. And that is where the real problem lies. When talent is pushed aside because the noise of scandals ends up eclipsing everything else. Some point out that her closeness to certain controversial figures only drags her further into a sea of suspicion. Of course, she has the right to live as she wishes, but when those choices directly affect her reputation, the consequence is inevitable: disappointment. And it is not envy, as her staunch defenders claim, but something simple: consistency. The public that once admired her feels betrayed because they expected greater coherence between what she said and what she did. It pains me to think about her closest environment. Just as it is said that Kaan's mother suffers from what is happening with him, I can imagine how Demet's family must feel seeing her name constantly linked to rumors and criticism. She, who once radiated freshness and positive energy, now seems surrounded by a dark aura that dims part of her light. And as many point out, it is not a matter of losing talent, for she still has it, but of wasting it on situations that bring her nothing. And yet, I want to be fair. There are still those who believe in her, who defend her freedom and assure that behind this chaos, there is still the genuine Demet, the one who won audiences over with her charisma. Those fans do not give up and encourage her not to let herself be dragged down. The question is, will she be able to listen to those voices and rediscover her best version? Or will she continue walking as if blind to reality, approaching an abyss from which it will be hard to return? I believe Demet still has a way out. Unlike Kaan, her fall does not seem irreversible. There is still time to change direction and regain that strength that once made her stand out. But none of this will happen if she continues to surround herself with people and situations that drain her. Beauty and talent are not enough. What is needed is character. And true character reveals itself in the hardest of times. That is why I say it clearly. Demet Özdemir must remember who she is and what she represents. She must ignore empty flattery and focus on what matters: her profession, her dignity, the trust of an audience that, although hurt, still awaits her. Because time moves on, and the people's affection is not eternal. If she wants to remain a reference point, she must get out of this labyrinth and return to being that strong, radiant woman that many still keep alive in their memory.